You trusted them. You gave them your time, your energy, maybe even your secrets. You built something with them, a friendship, a partnership, a future. You were loyal. You showed up. You believed in them when others didn't. And then they switched. Maybe it was a friend who smiled to your face and destroyed your reputation behind your back. Maybe it was a partner who took everything you built together and handed it to someone else. Maybe it was a colleague, someone you mentored, someone you protected, who stabbed you in the back the moment an opportunity appeared. And now you're sitting here, feeling something you can't quite name. It's not just anger. It's not just sadness. It's that deep, hollow feeling that comes when someone you trusted proves they were never who you thought they were. That feeling? It has a name: betrayal. And here's what nobody tells you about betrayal: it doesn't just hurt your heart. It rewires your brain. It makes you question your judgment. It makes you feel stupid for trusting them in the first place. Over 2,000 years ago, a man named Niccolò Machiavelli felt exactly what you're feeling right now. He gave everything to the city of Florence. He served loyally. He strategized brilliantly. And when the political winds changed, they arrested him, tortured him, threw him away like he was nothing. But Machiavelli didn't break. He did something far more powerful. And today you're going to learn exactly what that was. Before we go any further, I need to say something directly to you. If you've ever been betrayed, if someone you trusted has ever used you, humiliated you, or left you feeling worthless, you are not alone. And more importantly, you are not weak for having trusted them. Trusting people is not your mistake. Staying blind after the truth reveals itself, that's the only mistake we can afford to fix. This channel exists for one reason: to give you the kind of knowledge that no one ever sat down and taught you. The psychology of power, the philosophy of resilience, the strategy of people who refuse to stay down after life knocked them flat. If that's what you're here for, if you're tired of being the person things happen to and you're ready to become the person who decides what happens next, then subscribe right now. Hit the notification bell. Because what I'm about to share with you in this video is just the beginning of what's waiting for you on this channel. Now, let's get into it. Because right now you might be feeling the urge to react, to confront, to expose them, to make them feel what they made you feel. And that urge, as natural as it is, might be the most dangerous thing you can do. Here's why. When betrayal hits, your brain goes to war with itself. There's a part of your brain, the amygdala, that exists for one purpose: survival. And when it detects a threat, it floods your body with emotion: anger, fear, shame. The urge to fight back immediately, loudly, and without thinking. This is called an amygdala hijack. And it's the reason most people destroy themselves after being betrayed. Think about what most people do. They confront the person in public. They post about it online. They call mutual friends, try to build a case, demand explanations, beg for closure. They send long, emotional messages at 2 in the morning. They cry in front of the very person who hurt them. And the betrayer? They watch all of this, and they feel powerful. Because your reaction, your emotional explosion, tells them one thing: asterisk, I still affect you. I still matter to you. I won. Asterisk. There's a story of a man, let's call him Daniel, who was betrayed by his business partner of 7 years. His partner secretly moved their most important clients to a new company he had started behind Daniel's back. When Daniel found out, he lost control. He called clients to warn them. He sent threatening emails. He showed up at his former partner's new office and caused a scene. Within a month, Daniel had lost every remaining client he had. Not because of his partner's betrayal, because of his own reaction to it. He handed his enemy the weapon and asked to be hit with it. This is exactly what Machiavelli warned about centuries ago. He wrote that the man who shows his wounds in public invites others to finish the job. A wounded animal that exposes its belly doesn't survive. And neither does a person who lets their pain become their public identity. The world does not reward the loudest victim. It rewards the quietest survivor. So if screaming, confronting, and exploding don't work, what does? Most people think of Machiavelli as a villain, a cold, manipulative thinker who believed in cruelty and deception. But that's a lazy reading of the man. Machiavelli was a realist. He studied human beings the way a scientist studies nature, without illusions, without wishful thinking, and without the comfort of believing people are better than they are. He wrote, "Men are ungrateful, fickle, deceitful, cowardly, and greedy," not because he hated people, but because he had watched enough of history and lived enough of his own life to know that betrayal is not an accident. It is not a rare event caused by rare evil people. Betrayal is a feature of human nature. It happens when opportunity meets low character. And if you don't understand that, if you keep walking through life assuming everyone who smiles at you is trustworthy, then you are not kind. You are simply unprepared. This is the most important shift you can make. Stop seeing betrayal as something that was done to you, and start seeing it as something you were not yet equipped to predict. Machiavelli's student in strategy, Cesare Borgia, once had a trusted lieutenant named Ramiro de Lorqua. Ramiro was efficient, dangerously so. He was brutal in ways that were beginning to turn people against Borgia's rule. When Borgia realized that Ramiro had overstepped and potentially plotted against him, he didn't rage. He didn't accuse him publicly. He didn't beg for loyalty. One morning, the people of the town square found Ramiro's body, divided in two, lying in the square with a knife beside him. No announcement, no drama, no explanation, just consequence. Borgia understood what most people forget. Power is not found in loud reaction. It is found in decisive, quiet action. You are not Cesare Borgia. You don't need to be. But the philosophy applies to your life completely. The person who betrayed you expects your emotion. They are not expecting your silence. They are not expecting your rise. That is exactly what we're going to give them. Here is the truth that most betrayed people never discover. You cannot force someone to regret betraying you. You cannot shame them into it. You cannot argue them into it. You cannot even hurt them into it. Regret is not something you create through reaction. Regret is something that grows in silence, inside them, when they see what they lost thriving without them. Psychologists call this social comparison. It's a deeply wired human behavior. We constantly measure our lives against the lives of people around us. And when someone who was once below us, or dependent on us, begins to rise above us, the psychological pain is immense. There's also something called loss aversion, the proven psychological principle that losing something hurts nearly twice as much as gaining something feels good. This means the moment your betrayer realizes they have lost something valuable, that pain is far more powerful than any reward they gained by betraying you. This is what psychologists call phantom value. You only understand what something was truly worth once it is gone, and growing without you. There's a real story behind this idea. Two men built a tech startup together from nothing. One of them, the quieter one, the builder, was slowly pushed out by his co-founder through a series of boardroom moves. He was humiliated, forced to leave the company he helped create. That man was Steve Jobs. And when he returned, not with anger, not with revenge, but with vision and obsession, the man who pushed him out watched Apple become the most valuable company in the world. You think that man didn't feel regret? You think he didn't lie awake at night thinking about that decision? That is the kind of regret you are capable of creating. Not through confrontation, not through revenge, through becoming undeniable. Because here is the sentence I want you to write on the wall of your mind. They don't regret hurting you. They regret underestimating you. And the only way to make them feel that deeply, permanently, without any way to rationalize it away, is to become someone they cannot ignore. Now we get to the part you came for. 5 specific moves, rooted in psychology, tested by history, each one more powerful than the last. These are not revenge tactics. They are power recovery strategies, and the difference matters enormously. Move 1, withdraw completely. The moment you are betrayed, the most powerful thing you can do is disappear. Not dramatically, not with a goodbye speech or a final message that proves you're still wounded. Simply go quiet. Remove your energy from that person's world entirely. No calls, no texts, no mutual friend updates, no social media watching. This move is psychologically devastating to a betrayer because it denies them something they need more than they'll ever admit: your reaction. Your emotion is proof of their power over you. When you remove it completely, you create a vacuum. And nature, as they say, abhors a vacuum. That silence will haunt them far more than anything you could say. Move 2. Never explain. Never defend. This is one of the hardest things you will ever do. When someone betrays you and then lies about it, to mutual friends, to colleagues, to anyone who will listen, every instinct in your body will scream at you to defend yourself, to correct the record, to explain your side. Defending yourself to someone who has already decided to misrepresent you only legitimizes their version of the story. It signals that their narrative has power over you. Your silence, on the other hand, is its own verdict. The people who matter will wait and watch. And what they will watch is not your words. It is your actions. It is your life. Let that speak. Move 3. Redirect every drop of your energy into visible ascension. This is where Machiavelli meets Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who faced betrayal, war, and personal loss on a scale most of us cannot imagine, wrote this: "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. The betrayal is the obstacle, and the obstacle is the path. Every hour you spend thinking about what they did is an hour stolen from what you could become. Take that anger, that burning electric rage, and convert it into discipline, into work, into skill, into the version of yourself that makes the betrayal look, in hindsight, like the best thing that ever happened to you." This is not just motivation. This is strategy. Because every step you take upward is a message they will receive without you ever needing to send it. Move 4. Reconstruct your inner circle with ruthless honesty. Machiavelli wrote that a prince who is deceived by the same person twice deserves what he gets. After betrayal, most people make one of two mistakes. They either close themselves off from everyone, building walls so high that no one can ever get close again, or they swing the other way and forgive too quickly, letting the same type of person back in with a different face. Neither extreme serves you. What you need to do is audit. Look at every person in your life with clear eyes, not with suspicion or paranoia, but with discernment. Ask yourself, who has shown me consistency over time? Who shows up when there is nothing to gain? Who tells me hard truths rather than comfortable lies? These are your people. Build with them. Protect them. And quietly, without drama, allow the others to fade. Move 5. Let them watch. This is the final move. And it is perhaps the most satisfying, not because of what you do, but because of what you don't do. Don't announce your success to them. Don't send the "look at me now" message. Don't show up to the reunion with expensive clothes just to prove a point. Do the work, build the life, and let the world deliver the message for you. Because success, real, undeniable, quietly earned success, witnessed by the person who thought they finished you, is not just revenge. It is justice. Now I need to slow down and tell you something important. Something that most videos like this one will never say. Machiavellian thinking is a tool. And like any tool, a knife, a fire, a strategy, it can build something remarkable or it can destroy the person holding it. If you walk away from this video and spend the next 5 years obsessing over making one person regret what they did to you, you have not won. You have handed them something far more valuable than whatever they took from you. You have handed them your life. Consider this: Niccolò Machiavelli, the master of political strategy, the man who understood power better than almost anyone in history, died in 1527 largely alone. The city he had sacrificed everything for never fully trusted him again. The men he had advised and studied never truly welcomed him back into their circles. The man who wrote the book on power couldn't escape the loneliness that came from living entirely inside strategy. There is a cost to becoming cold. There is a cost to seeing every person as a potential threat. And if you are not careful, the betrayal that was meant to be a chapter in your story becomes the entire book. So ask yourself this question honestly: do you want them to regret what they did? Or do you want to actually win your life back? Because those two goals look similar from the outside, but they lead to very different places. The first keeps you attached to them, to the wound, to the story. The second sets you free. Choose freedom. Use the strategy, but never let the strategy use you. There is a Japanese art form called kintsugi. When a piece of pottery breaks, most people throw it away. But the kintsugi masters do something extraordinary. They take the broken pieces and repair them, Not with glue, not with something invisible, but with gold. They make the cracks the most beautiful part of the object. The philosophy behind it is this: the break is not a flaw. The break is part of the history. And the history is what gives the piece its true value. You are that piece of pottery right now. You are sitting in your broken pieces, wondering if you can ever be whole again. And I'm telling you, not as a comfort but as a fact, that the person you are going to become through this betrayal is more valuable, more powerful, and more self-aware than the person you were before it happened. Abraham Lincoln was betrayed by colleagues, humiliated in public, and written off as a failure multiple times before he became the president who held a nation together through its worst crisis. Steve Jobs was pushed out of his own company before he came back to build the future. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in a prison cell, betrayed by a system, and walked out without bitterness, only strategy and vision, and changed the world. These were not people who were untouched by betrayal. They were people who used betrayal as fuel. And here is the sentence I want you to carry with you long after this video ends. The version of you that exists on the other side of this betrayal is the one they should have been afraid of from the very beginning. They didn't break you. They revealed you. Now go become that person. We started this video with a wound. Someone you trusted showed you who they really were. And for a moment, maybe for a long time, it felt like the end of something. But here's what Machiavelli understood that most people never do. Betrayal is not the end of your story. It is the moment your real story begins. The quiet withdrawal, the silent ascension, the ruthless rebuilding, the golden cracks. These are not just strategies. They are a philosophy for living as someone who cannot be permanently defeated, because you have learned to turn every wound into a weapon for your own growth. Now, it's your move, not their move. Not the move they expect from you. Your move. If this video hits something real inside you, drop a comment right now with the words, "I'm done being underestimated." Let this community know you're choosing strategy over suffering, power over pain. And if you're ready for the next level, the next video is about how truly dangerous people can read you before you even open your mouth, and how to make yourself impossible to manipulate. You don't want to miss it. Like this video, share it with someone who needs it. And remember, the best response to betrayal was never revenge. It was becoming.